There's Rocksteady at King of the Pit TV.
Yo, yes now, bless now. Don't forget to rest now. There's Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV, signing in and signing out on a review. The Exploited Troops of Tomorrow. We've just listened to the entire record, and that entire record should be uploaded on this channel at this point. So if you want to see my track by track listen, please feel free to do so. Have a little delve in. Now, there's 13 tunes on here. I've heard quite a few of them, so let me tell you what I had heard beforehand. I had heard Disorder indirectly. I mean, it wasn't one on repetitive spin, but I've heard it before. I've heard USA, heard UK 82, and that was it. So I've heard their tracks. I got put onto this via the Patreon. Dolphin Thorndike, the Patreon subscriber, said, you need to move on to the Exploited second record. The songwriting is better. Yeah, songwriting's better. So I've moved onwards, and one moment. And there was reference of the songwriting being better, if not also the sound production. Now, let me just say, I completely agree. The writing is better. It feels like there's a bit more grit towards it. There's a little more direction, a little more concentration, and a little more of a politicized anger. There's genuinely, and you know, I'll listen to a lot of records and people say, oh, this is their angriest album and so on and so forth. I got it with Green Day and I didn't really catch on to it because, you know, I didn't necessarily perceive it as such. But some people say, oh, they sound so angry, oh, this is angry record. And normally, especially having experience in a studio, it's very hard to portray the anger as to which them lyrics were initially written on the paper and portray it in a studio setting, because you're with the boys, you're in a room by yourself with a microphone, you have to record it maybe 10 times over if the sound engineer is like that. And it's more so about technique and getting a good recording as opposed to expressing the emotion you want to express. And then even so, you might do so, then you have to translate it to an audience, which might be just as hard, might be just as hard. So what I'm trying to say is, even though I understand that's the case, this record, or at least what his vocals do, portray a little more grit and angst. Now, onto the instrumental, it's very metal. There's a lot more metal in here. There's a lot more guitar chugging, distortion. The vocal performance is a lot more metal in my opinion, a lot more harsh. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think it works for this band because there's a lot of DB action, which is fantastic. It's my cup of tea. I like it. I don't like it when they completely chug, which sends me into this sort of tangent. The longer songs, we had the title track Troops of Tomorrow, we had the track War, and we had the last track Germs. Boring. The Exploited doesn't work well when they're doing this slower tempo stuff, this chuggy stuff. They need to be fast. They need to be faster. It doesn't work when they do that longer form, longer song malarkey. I just don't think it suits the band personally. So that's my personal opinion as far as that's concerned. But with that being said, they break it up very well with heaps of faster material and a few shin shakers, a few toe tappers, a lot of attitude, a lot of aggression, a sound which is really cool. Sound that is really cool. If I'm going to rate this record, I can't remember what I rated Punkstead. I assume I rated Punkstead like 6 out of 10 maybe, if not 5. And if that's the case, let's say for example, because I'm going to be tight, let's say for example I rated Punk's Not Dead 5.5 out of 10. I'll give this a 6. I'll give it a 6. Because, you know, generally it's sound, but it's not a great record. It's not a great record, but there's some great tunes on here. Disorder's a top tune. USA's a top tune. Because you don't forget that once you've heard it. I mean, I'm sure it was incredibly bold at the time, you know, especially when they got to America. UK 82 is a debatably good tune. I like it a lot because I heard it on the soundtrack of a film. And yeah, that's what I'll say. That's what I'll say. I'll leave that one at that one. So I'm going to continue on with the exploited in due time. Of course, if you do want it, let me know and we'll go from there. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.